The Warriors are facing the New Orleans Pelicans tonight, and it's going to be a very important game. We're going to figure out how the Warriors will act without superstar Stephen Curry. What is Steve Curry implementing for this team? Who will need to step up? We're going to talk about everything tonight. So the Warriors are facing the New Orleans Pelicans at 7 p.m. Pacific time. This game is going to be on Open TV, TNT, so you have the opportunity to watch, even if you don't have the NBA League Pass. It's going to be a very challenging game. The Warriors have injuries. The New Orleans also has, so it's going to be an open game. They faced each other 4 times last season, and they split the wins. The Warriors won the first 2 and lost the last 2, but one of those losses was with the Pelicans scoring 140 points. So we know how powerful the New Orleans Pelicans offense is. They have Zion Williamson, they have CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, so they have multiple ways of scoring. And the Warriors won't be with Stephen Curry and won't be with 2 other important players for this game. So Steve Kerr will have to figure out something. Tomorrow they face each other again. It's a back-to-back series. And so on Thursday and Friday, we'll be able to evaluate better the Warriors roster. So this is the injury report we saw yesterday. DeAnthony Melton, that's potentially the backup for Stephen Curry, won't play either. So both players are missing this back-to-back series, which it puts a big question mark of what can we do. So I would expect us to see a lot more of Brandin Podziesmki and even maybe some Pat Spencer in this game or Reese Beekman, because the Warriors are without your superstar. They need to figure out a different rotation, and the Anthony Meltons also won't be there. And on top of that, there's a possibility that Andrew Wiggins won't play tonight. So the Warriors is missing 3 key players, and it's going to be a very challenging game. The New Orleans Pelicans also don't count with Trey Murphy and the Jonathan Murray, which broke a hand in the first game of the season or second game, if I'm not wrong, for the New Orleans Pelicans. So both teams battling injuries, but obviously the miss for the Warriors are more important players. Andrew Wiggins has been performing really well in this first 3 games, scored 29 points last game, and Stephen Curry is the superstar, the lead of the organization. It's going to be interesting. The Warriors will have to show that this roster is really deep. As you're seeing, we have 12 players on the screen there. We're missing Link Waters III and Guy Santos they played in the first 2 games as well. So I would expect that potentially those guys get some minutes. Brandin Podziesmki likely being the backup guard and the starting 5 as part of the starting 5 since we don't have Stephen Curry. And then if Andrew Wiggins is not playing, I would expect to see a lot more of Buddy Hield and Moses Moody so they can step up. And these guys will need to step up and fulfill the shoes right now, right? We're missing the guy that scored for us between 20 to 25 points, lead the organization, the playmaker, and a guy that call all the attention. So it's going to be interesting how the Warriors will design its offense and potentially even change it to emphasize more on the athletic guys and attacking the ring and ISO plays. So I want to see what Steve Kerr is designing and how he deals with this big miss in this beginning of the season. The Warriors are record 2-1 right now, so it's really important for us to catch these 2 games, if possible, making that 4-1, because then we have 5 games on the road. So the Warriors haven't faced an easy beginning of season, and it's going to be very interesting. So I want to know your opinion. How do you think the Warriors will perform in this game without Stephen Curry? Do we have a way? Can the Warriors still be a contender, a competitive team without Stephen Curry? Who needs to step up? In my opinion, there's one guy that really is lacking right now and needs to step up to prove the expectations, to prove that he can keep evolving and then achieve his final goal, that is to stay as a Warriors player, and more than that, to get that extension and potentially a max extension. The guy that hasn't delivered so far, Jonathan Kuminga, you can see his averages are very low compared to his career, compared to the last season, and even compared to the expectations for this season. He is the guy. If the Warriors don't have Andrew Wiggins, don't have Stephen Curry, if Kuminga doesn't come and score a lot more, we won't be able to compete, because you can expect maybe Buddy Hield to bring those 20 points, Moses Moody 15. You're going to have those around 10 to 15 for other guys, but you need a guy to deliver between those 20 and 25, and that's where Jonathan Kuminga will be very important. And if Steve Kerr decides to give more ball time in hand for Kuminga. He needs to be more decisive. He needs to be smarter in the decisions that he makes. Like when we look to the first 3 games, he was showing like he was lacking confidence, or he was struggling, like he was trying something and then changing his mind, losing balls and like bad decisions. So we're going to need to see a lot more from him in this game, and it's going to be really important for the Warriors. We're also going to need Draymond Green to step up a lot. Like we are lacking our main leader, Stephen Curry. Draymond Green needs to fulfill that shoe. So he really needs to be very centered as well in his mind. We can't afford to miss Draymond Green during the game. And he's going to be an important key on our defense as usual, but especially because he's going to be the one fighting directly against Zion Williamson. So we have seen that Zion Williamson, for example, last game only score like 3 baskets, and we don't want this guy to get hit and potentially make a game and a name against the Warriors. So that's going to be key. And then the other piece to watch is Trace Jackson and Kevin Looney. And luckily for the Warriors, compared to what happened against Zubat and the Clippers, the New Orleans Pelicans don't have a very sizable centers. So you have the rookie, Ivis, but they have been starting Daniel Tice, which should be a fair match for both Trace Jackson and Kevin Looney. So eyes on that as well. Eyes if Wiggins will be playing and how the Warriors will behave. The Warriors are right now in a very concerning place. Not having Stephen Curry is the worst thing we could imagine for this beginning of season. So all eyes on how they will behave and what Steve Kerr is bringing to the table to make us catch that win tonight. So as we used to say, strength in numbers.